Hey there and welcome. So let's just jump right in. When you look at a tree, a huge redwood or even just the oak in your backyard, what do you see? I mean, it's a symbol of life, right? It's ancient, it's sturdy, and it's obviously alive. Well, what if I told you that what you're really looking at is an incredible piece of engineering built almost entirely out of the dead? Today, we're going to dig into the absolutely fascinating architecture of arboreal decay. Okay, look at this. Every tree you have ever seen is dead. I mean, that sounds just completely wrong, doesn't it? But believe it or not, this one single idea is the absolute key to understanding what a tree really is. It's the mystery we're about to solve right now. So, how on earth can a tree be both living and dead? Well, to get our heads around this whole paradox, we've got to challenge how we think about trees. And we need to start by redefining what wood even is. And here's the crucial part. The stuff that makes up like 99% of a tree, that solid material we all call wood, it isn't living tissue. Not at all. It's actually a super complex structure built from the hardened corpses of millions and millions of cells that died a long, long time ago. So the tree isn't made of life. It's a monument built from its own remains. So, how does a living thing manage to build itself out of its own dead parts? It's all thanks to what you can think of as a conveyor belt of death, a really clever, relentless process that actually builds the tree from the inside out. Okay, let's break this down. It all kicks off in this paper-thin layer of living cells right under the bark. This is the only part of the trunk that's actually alive and growing. So as this layer makes new cells, it shoves the older ones inward, pushing them farther and farther away from all the nutrients. And once they're cut off, well, they die. But here's the crazy part. They don't just rot away. No, they harden. They become that strong, solid material that makes up the entire trunk and all the branches. And this is where the sheer scale of it all just hits you. The living part of a tree, it's just an incredibly thin skin. You've got the bark on the outside protecting it, and on the inside, this massive internal cemetery, a structural graveyard of cells piling up year after year, ring after ring. The tree we actually see, it's basically a ghost. But here's the thing. This graveyard isn't just a pile of waste. It is an absolute architectural marvel. The tree is literally engineering its own dead cells to build this magnificent tower that reaches for the sun. It turns basic biology into just brilliant engineering. You can actually think of a tree trunk a lot like a skyscraper made of steel-reinforced concrete. Seriously, they're both composite materials designed for incredible strength and height. See, we humans use steel rebar to handle tension and concrete for compression. A tree? It uses these super strong cellulose fibers for tension and this natural polymer called lignin that acts like a powerful glue, binding it all together to handle the compression. It's an unbelievably effective design. So why go through all this trouble? Why build this massive dead tower? It all comes down to one single living purpose: to lift its leaves, the tree's solar panels, as high as it possibly can, up into the sky, so it can beat its neighbors to the sunlight. The entire dead structure is just a support system. It's a launch pad for that tiny, fragile sliver of life at the very top. Okay, so we've been looking up at this tower, but, every great tower needs a really strong foundation. So what's going on in the part of the tree we can't even see? Because if the trunk is a quiet graveyard, the roots are something else entirely. Yeah, you can forget that gentle image of roots just quietly sipping water from the soil. They are way more like a team of relentless, acid-soaked miners, aggressively digging and fueling the whole construction of the tower above. So the tips of the roots are just constantly pushing forward, mining the soil for water and key minerals. They create this incredible pressure, enough to just mercilessly split rocks and crack sidewalks that get in their way. And to get what they need, they actually secrete powerful acids to literally dissolve minerals right out of solid stone. It's this violent, chemical, powerful process happening right under our feet all the time. All right, let's pull all this together. We've got an aggressive mining operation happening underground, which fuels this biological conveyor belt of death, which then constructs a massive tower, all just to lift a tiny, thin layer of life up into the sun. When you think about it like that, it gives you a whole new way to see what a forest actually is. And this is really the ultimate takeaway. A tree isn't just a living thing. It's a biological graveyard. It's an active monument, constantly adding to its own city of the dead in its relentless quest for life. So the next time you find yourself leaning against a tree, just remember what you're really touching. It's an elegant, sometimes violent, and absolutely incredible monument of death. A structure that was built over decades, maybe even centuries, all of it designed to support that fragile, paper-thin sliver of life that's coating its surface and reaching for the sky. And that leaves us with one last thought. This whole principle of using the dead to support the living, it's a super powerful one in nature. So I'm going to leave you with this question. What other living things that you see every single day are actually built on a foundation of death? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this one.